On the morning of July 4th, what began as a holiday trip to one of the Gulf Coast's most scenic islands would end in a mystery that continues to divide opinions across the country. A group of friends traveled together expecting a day of celebration, laughter, and adventure. By the end of the weekend, one of them was gone. His name was Nolan Wells. Within days, social media was flooded with theories. Videos were analyzed frame by frame. Strangers claimed they knew what had happened. Some believed it was a tragic accident. Others suspected something far more sinister. But beneath the speculation lies a real investigation, one still unfolding where many of the most important questions remain unanswered. This is the story of Nolan Wells, the events that led to his disappearance, and the search that captured national attention. Nolan Wells was known by family and friends as someone who enjoyed spending time outdoors. He loved fishing, boating, and being around the water. Those who knew him described him as friendly, dependable, and someone who looked forward to spending time with the people closest to him. Like many young adults celebrating Independence Day, Nolan joined a group of friends for a trip to Horn Island, one of Mississippi's barrier islands in the Gulf of Mexico. Part of the Gulf Island's national seashore, Horn Island is famous for its white sand beaches, clear water, and remote beauty. Unlike many public beaches, there are no permanent residents, no hotels, and very few facilities. Visitors usually arrive by private boat, spending the day fishing, swimming, and relaxing before heading back to the mainland. The island's peaceful appearance can be deceiving. Its isolated location, changing tides, deep surrounding waters, and unpredictable weather can quickly turn a routine outing into a dangerous situation. Still, for experienced boaters, a 4th of July trip to Horn Island was nothing unusual. That morning, Nolan and several friends set out together by boat, expecting nothing more than a memorable holiday. Photographs and videos from earlier in the day showed a group enjoying themselves along the shoreline. Like countless holiday gatherings, there were smiles, conversations, and moments shared on social media. Nothing in those early images suggested that the day would soon take a tragic turn. As the hours passed, the group remained on the island, spending time on the beach and around their boat. Exactly what happened in Nolan's final moments on Horn Island remains disputed. Friends later told investigators that Nolan chose to stay behind after meeting a young woman, believing he would find another ride back to the mainland. But according to attorney Ben Crump, the young woman later said Nolan told her he planned to leave the island with the same friends he had arrived with. Those conflicting accounts have become one of the central questions investigators continue to examine. When Nolan failed to return and could no longer be reached, concern quickly began to grow. Before long, emergency authorities were notified that an 18-year-old man was missing near Horn Island. What followed was a large-scale search involving multiple agencies. The United States Coast Guard, local Marine Patrol units, law enforcement officers, and volunteer search teams began combing the waters surrounding the island. Search crews worked by boat while aircraft scanned the coastline from above. The search continued through difficult conditions, covering miles of open water and shoreline. Every hour that passed made the situation more urgent. Meanwhile, Nolan's family was learning that something had gone terribly wrong. For them, the holiday quickly became a nightmare filled with uncertainty. They waited for updates, hoping search teams would find him alive. As news of the disappearance spread, local media began reporting on the ongoing search. Soon afterward, social media transformed the case into a national conversation. Millions of people watched short video clips recorded on Horn Island that day. Some viewers believed the footage contained important clues. Others began analyzing conversations, body language, and the actions of everyone present. Before investigators had an opportunity to complete their work, countless theories had already begun circulating online. Some claimed the videos proved foul play. Others insisted there was no evidence of a crime. Many of those claims were based on assumptions rather than verified facts. As speculation continued to grow, investigators remained focused on gathering evidence instead of responding to internet rumors. Their priority was finding Nolan and determining exactly what had happened. Search crews had spent countless hours scanning the waters around Horn Island. expanding their search area as tides and currents shifted. Helicopters flew overhead while boats traced the coastline, looking for any sign of the missing 18-year-old. Then, on the morning of July 6th, searchers made the discovery everyone had feared. Nolan Wells' body was found in the water near Horn Island. The recovery marked the end of the search, but it also marked the beginning of a much larger investigation. Authorities transported Nolan's body to the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's office, where an autopsy was conducted. Investigators initially said there were no immediate indications of foul play, but they emphasized that the investigation was far from over. They continued interviewing witnesses, collecting digital evidence, and waiting for forensic results before reaching any final conclusions. For Nolan's family, those early statements brought little comfort. They believed there were too many unanswered questions. They wanted to understand why their son had been left behind, what happened during his final hours, and whether every possible lead was being pursued. His parents publicly called for transparency and urged anyone who had photographs, videos, or first-hand knowledge of what happened on July 4th to come forward. As public attention intensified, the family retained civil rights attorney Ben Crump to represent them. Crump announced that the family would pursue an independent investigation alongside the official one. He also confirmed that an independent autopsy would be conducted because the family wanted a second medical opinion before accepting any conclusions about Nolan's death. The case quickly expanded beyond Mississippi. National media began covering the investigation. Community leaders offered support. Public figures, including former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick, helped fund the independent autopsy, while others contributed to a reward fund for information that could assist investigators. The reward later grew to $125,000, with contributions from filmmaker Tyler Perry, Reverend Al Sharpton, and former NFL player Terrell Owens. Meanwhile, social media continued generating theories faster than investigators could verify facts. One short cell phone video recorded on Horn Island became the center of intense speculation. Millions of people watched and replayed the footage, believing they heard Nolan involved in an argument shortly before he disappeared. The clip fueled accusations against members of the friend group. Some received threats online, others said they feared for their safety. As rumors spread, one of Nolan's closest friends decided to speak publicly. Treseston Shepard, who described Nolan as his best friend, gave interviews asking people not to rush to judgment while the investigation remained active. He said the viral video had been misunderstood. According to Shepard, the person heard shouting in the recording was not Nolan, it was him. "That's me yelling," Shepard said, explaining that the argument shown in the video did not involve Nolan in the way many people believed. Shepard also rejected claims circulating online that members of the friend group had harmed Nolan. He described Nolan as someone everyone cared deeply about. "Nobody would ever hurt Nolan in our friend group," he said. "We would die for him. We would do everything in our power for that guy." At the same time, Shepard acknowledged that he also wanted answers. "I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown," he said. "And if the facts show that somebody harmed Nolan, I hope justice is brought. And if it was a tragic accident and somebody didn't speak up, I still hope justice is brought." His comments reflected the difficult balance surrounding the case. On one side was a grieving family searching for answers. On the other were friends insisting they had lost someone they loved while denying the allegations spreading across the internet. Both wanted the truth. What that truth ultimately is remains unknown. As investigators continued reviewing evidence, Nolan's parents maintained that they were not satisfied with the limited information released publicly. His mother and father said they struggled to believe their son would have willingly remained alone on the island under the circumstances described. They continued asking for patience while also pressing investigators for greater transparency. One of the most anticipated developments became the independent autopsy. Because the official medical examiner had not yet released a cause or manner of death, the family sought another examination by independent forensic experts. Attorney Ben Crump later announced that the independent findings would be presented publicly, while emphasizing that the family believed additional questions still needed answers. As of today, the official investigation remains active. Authorities have not announced a final cause or manner of death. No arrests have been made. No one has been charged in connection with Nolan Wells' death. Investigators continue reviewing witness statements, forensic evidence, digital data, and the results of both the official and independent medical examinations. Cases like this often become divided between facts and speculation. Facts are established through evidence. Speculation grows through uncertainty. In Nolan Wells' case, there is still a significant difference between the two. What is known is that an 18-year-old left home expecting to spend Independence Day with friends. He never returned. His family continues to mourn a son they describe as kind, athletic, and deeply loved. His friends continue mourning someone they call their best friend while denying online accusations. Investigators continue searching for answers. Until the investigation is complete and forensic findings are fully released, many of the questions surrounding Nolan Wells' death remain unanswered. For now, the most accurate conclusion is also the simplest. The search for Nolan has ended, but the search for the truth continues. Thank you for watching. If you found this documentary informative, consider subscribing for more carefully researched true crime stories based on verified facts, court records, and official investigations. Until next time, stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember that the most unsettling mysteries are often the ones hidden in plain sight.